Welcome to the Pictures of Lily podcast, Vintage Edition. I'm your host, Lily Moayeri. I've been a music journalist since 1992, and I interview a lot of music-related people. This podcast is about my experiences behind the story, what my experience is doing the interviews, just to give you a snapshot of what it's like on the other side of the digital recorder. Over the last couple of years of the Pictures of Lily podcast, we've shifted to the Vintage Edition, where I am sharing experiences about specific interviews with the bonus of original audio from the artists in those interviews. These interviews pull from my 33-year archive, many of which are recorded on cassette tape.
Pictures of Lily.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Pictures of Lily podcast Vintage Edition. This is Year 6, Episode 98. We publish monthly with a new episode posting on the second Wednesday of each month. You can find us on every platform by going to picturesoflily.com, where you can subscribe or follow us and also connect to us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pandora, and Amazon. Although it's really best to listen to the podcast straight from the source at picturesoflily.com, as it is the highest quality audio and avoids copyright restrictions. This episode is my second interview with Oasis's Noel Gallagher from 1999.
Ain't no illusion. Try to click with what you got. Taste every potion. Cause if you like yourself a lot, go let it out. Go let it in. And go let it out.
Here are a few snapshots of my second interview with Noel Gallagher of Oasis. Before listening to this episode, I would highly recommend going back and listening to the original Pictures of Lily podcast episode on Noel Gallagher that was published in 2020, then listening to the episode with my first interview with Noel from 1995, which was published last year. The 2020 episode goes into my experiences with Noel from before he was even in Oasis. Last year's episode, which is my interview with Noel from 1995, will prime you for this one. I will link both of them in this episode's notes. The interview in this episode took place in person at a suite at Casa del Mar Hotel in Santa Monica on December 15th, 1999, at the time of Oasis's album Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. Coincidentally, 5 years and 10 days after our first interview, which happened just a few feet away at the hotel next door. This was a last-minute assignment for which I spoke to Noel, and it was his last interview before leaving to return to England for the holidays. Unlike the previous interview where Noel was at the height of his partying and our interaction was quite informal, this interview was after Noel stopped taking drugs, as it were, and we were pretty professional and frankly a little on edge. We talk about him stopping taking drugs, going solo, this is 10 years before the Oasis split, but also about how he doesn't want to leave the band and the Chemical Brothers. At the start, I tasked Noel with making sure the tape recorder is, in fact, recording. Here's our interview in its entirety. No edits.
As long as the red light's going on and off, we're cool then, yeah?
No, not necessarily. You have to
All right, then.
make sure that bit keeps going. Like it has to keep moving.
All right, okay.
Red light's just a...
All right.
It's to deceive you. So, what did you have in mind for the song?
Well, I don't know, I just didn't really want to make like a record like Be Here Now again, so we decided just to change producers and record it in France and change some of the personnel around who we generally have in the studio, and hopefully that would bring something new to the sound of the band, which it did do in the end. But generally in the writing, I just wanted to make something a little bit more contemporary while still keeping the elements of what we're good at, which is rock and roll music, really.
What do you mean by contemporary?
Drum loops and funny keyboard noises and stuff that's interesting as opposed to stuff that's just...
What do you mean you didn't want to make something like Be Here Now? What is Be Here Now like?
Well, the songs are too long. And basically, 50% of the songs are really not up to scratch, really. And the lyrics are just rubbish. I spent a lot more time working on... Well, in Be Here Now, I spent 2 weeks writing it, and it shows in that record. And this one took a year to write, and I think that's what I'll be doing from now on, is taking more time in between albums to do the writing, as opposed to somebody saying, look, we've got the studio booked in 2 weeks. And I go, oh, fuck, right, okay, I'll write the songs then. And not taking drugs anymore helped a lot, and not drinking and all that stuff helped. So it was all good, man. It was all...
Helped in what way?
Well, look, I've got my focus back for writing songs, I mean, I've done drugs now for 2 years and it's just, I've felt better in my fucking life ever, I knew exactly once I'd written the songs and done the demos, I knew exactly what I wanted, and it was all very clear. It opened, it was like being in a fucking blizzard when you're just out of it all the time. You can't function, you can't focus, you get lazy. You just do the first thing that comes natural to you, because doing work, writing music and recording music is a chore. It gets in the way of the party. Whereas this time it's just
making sure.
This time round it was like, fuck, well, all that shit's out of the way. Now let's go make some music, man.
Because you told me that you didn't think you could stop.
No.
4 years ago.
No, but I didn't.
It's not like you didn't want to, because you're like, I'd like to.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's going to be possible.
No, but I did though, and it was, a gradual thing where my health was really fucking suffering really badly, and it was like I was getting really bad panic attacks, and I was convinced that I was, the usual. I was convinced I was going to have an heart attack. I was getting paranoid. I went to see my doctor, and he said, well, there's an easy solution to all this. And he said, the thing is, you just got to stop taking drugs. And I was like, fucking bollocks, can't you give me anything? And he said, well, I can give you more drugs, if that's what you mean. I was going, well, yeah, and he was going, but then you'd be addicted to fucking like fucking antidepressants. And I was going, what are they like? And he said, well, you don't get a buzz off them. I was going, fuck off. So I decided that I was going to give it a go for about 6 months and see how it, and I thought, well...
So you went cold turkey, just stop?
Just like that. Just woke up one day and that was it. Cleared everyone out of the house, who are you? Can you leave now? And that was it. Just stopped. And then after about 6 months, I decided I was going to stop for 6 months and get my health back in order. Then after 6 months, it became 8 months, and then it became a year, and then it became 18 months, and now it's 2 years, and it's like fucking... I can even be in a room now where loads of people are doing it, and I can go, don't want it no more. I have to say.
Because you're looking rough before I showed you in my mirror. I'm like, look, this is not good for 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
I know, it was bad, wasn't it? But
But I noticed that when I saw you earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I told that, I'm like, what happened to Noel? He's not looking bad. And he's like, yeah, well, he's been in Thailand. I'm like, is that what it is? Is that and combined with a good haircut? But now that, this is winter now and you still look the same. So
yeah.
It's your own natural glow now.
Yeah, it's eating well and sleeping well and stuff like that. And I think the cutting down the drinking is the most important thing, because the drugs are fair enough. The drinking thing is just it's
It's so easy to do it all.
Yeah, because it's legal and stuff like that, and and the people go, well, he's only drunk, but sooner or later that catches up, and hopefully, it's been great. I've not had any relapses or anything. It's brilliant. It was fucking jolly good time.
So how'd you decide on the producer?
I don't know. He just came to. We were watching some boxing match around at my house. These ones that's been live from America about 3 a.m, and he turned up with his wife, who's a friend of Meg's, and we were chatting away there. And I knew of him. I didn't know anything about him. I knew he'd worked with U2 and Massive Attack and all that stuff.
Manson.
Yeah. Well, we don't like to mention that. And he actually worked with the Spice Girls as well. We found out after we'd employed him.
They have some good shows.
Yeah, really? Okay, fine. And he was chatting away, and he said, "Oh, what so what you doing?" I said, "Oh, just demoing a bunch of songs." He said, "Oh, can I have a listen?" So I said, "Yeah, all right." So I played them to him, and he was going, "Wow, right, man, fucking wow, blah blah blah." And we chatted away, and then it was just like when we had to come to make a choice. I thought, well, he's worked on contemporary modern records. He doesn't seem to be apprehensive about working with us, because a lot of people go, what, the Gallagher brothers in the same studio? Are you fucking sure? And he was getting really excited by the music, which is the main thing. And then we asked him and he said, yeah. And I just had a good feeling about it from the start. He's not into drugs and all that stuff as well. And it helps if somebody who's in charge is like fucking saying, all right, look, this is how it's going to be. We're coming here to make a record. Whereas the last times we just all turn up the studio, we'll go to the fucking pub and then just get fucking out of it and then make a record. Whereas this time we made the record first and then got drunk at the end, it was great, and I'm looking forward to working with him again.
You're going to do it again, you think, yeah?
Totally.
And you used Paul quite a lot, Stacey.
Stacey, yeah, he plays... well, when Griggs left, I played bass on 6 tracks, and he's a far more accomplished musician than I'll ever be.
So he left during the recording?
He left towards the beginning of the mixing.
Okay.
So when that was done, it was like, all right, so you're fucking leaving. So we had no qualms about redoing the stuff. And so I played bass on 6 tracks, and Paul played bass on 4. And then I redone all Bonehead's rhythm tracks, and then Paul played some lead guitar because he's a better lead guitar player than I am, and that was that. He's a brilliant engineer, and his crowning moment on the whole record, I think, is "Who Feels Love" that me and him put together in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And that just grew out of nothing. That just grew out of the one chord thing. It just flowed all the way, and he plays all the backwards stuff on it and that. And but he was really good to have around because he's into it. Do you know what I mean? He's not someone he'd never worked. He'd done little bits of engineering, but nothing really big and substantial. So he's not. So when you get engineers and you want them to push them that little bit harder, they're sort of like, we didn't do this with such and such a band. But he's into it. You know what I mean? He's bang into it, and you need people like that around.
Yeah. I interviewed him last time for Keyboard.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, and he was telling me how he's like, I'm a guitar player, and I'm like, that's
yeah.
But he was saying that he wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff and that you were going to help him do it, and I'm like, well, we'll see. But now it's totally turned around. Yeah,
he was producing an album for a jazz singer called Claire Martin. When we got back to England, I played on some of the stuff for him. So we done it. I mean, he was there right from the very beginning of the. So first of all, I wrote 3 songs, and then I recorded them with him, and then there was another 3 and another 3, and until he was right there right to the end. So he was great. We actually asked him to join the band in the end, but he wouldn't do it because he doesn't.
What?
Bass player, I think, but he wouldn't do it because he doesn't like touring. So
yeah, that experience with you.
Yeah,
already.
I know. So I was thinking, fucking hell, is it that bad? And so he said, he wanted to get more into the engineering side, and he said, well, if I go away for 2 years with you guys, he said, I'm going to lose a lot of work that I'm going to get when people see my name on the back of this record. And I said, well, that's fair enough, But hopefully he'll come and play with us in England at some of the shows and do some stuff.
I mean, bass or something.
I don't know, whatever. It's like keep people involved. I like to keep the same people around because I generally like them. And we're definitely going to work with him again. There's no doubt about that. And he'll definitely play on the records again because he's too good a person just to not play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So where do you see the Oasis thing going long term?
Well, after the next tour, after the tour, which is for this album, I'm going to take I've already written 5 songs and finished 5 songs with words and all that for the next record. So that's done. I've nearly finished another one, which I've been writing while I've been here. So that'll be 6. I need about another 6 or 7 more. And then hopefully we'll start right at the beginning of 2001, get in the studio immediately with this lineup that we've got now. Because the 2 new guys are fucking just brilliant musicians and great guys. So I'm going to get in the studio immediately with them, do an album, put that out. Maybe not tour the album next time, and then I want to go and do a solo record.
You're not going to tour the next album, you don't think? It's too soon to say, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll probably get talked into it in the end. But
it's weird because now you're thinking that the touring, this album hasn't even started. To think about touring the one after.
Yeah,
you're never going to get started.
But the next thing is to get this lineup on a record playing together. Then after that, I'll definitely want to do a solo album. Because I've rediscovered the joy of writing music again. Whereas before it was just like work, and it was like, oh fuck, I've got to write a bunch of songs, and like, oh, I can't go out party tonight because I'm writing. Now I've rediscovered that.
What made you rediscover?
When I stopped doing drugs and I stopped partying and that, it was like, I had more time to devote to it. And so now I'm enjoying the writing. I'm writing songs like fucking mental. So I've got loads of stuff, And so I just want to carry on making records. And obviously we didn't sign for that much money when we signed the initial record deal, which after this album, we've only got 1 more album to deliver for Sony, and then we get a really, really, really big payday. So I'm really looking forward to that. And just, carrying on, doing a lot less, but making the quality better. Because I think that you can't do an album every year because it gives you no time to write because you've got a tour and all that stuff. So I think, just to slow down the work ethic a bit more and devote more time to the quality of the work as opposed to the quantity of the work. Mm-hmm. And just try and keep the band together for as long as possible. Keep an eye on Liam.
So you don't want to keep the band together more?
I do, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do, yeah. But I also want to do a solo record. And
that doesn't mean that you're not going to go back with the band?
No, fuck no. No, I like being in the band. I like being around. I don't consider myself to be a solo artist. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bank on it as a career, but I'd definitely love to try it before I'm older, just to see what it's like. I'd like to make one solo album. I wouldn't, have numerous side projects and do an Oasis album, a solo album, and keep doing it like that. I'd like to do one one solo record before I'm too old to become, an old fart. You know what I mean?
Doing solo stuff.
Yeah, that'd be sad, wouldn't it? Before I grow a beard.
But do you think you can see all your musical stuff that you want to do can be realised in Oasis?
A lot of it can't, because I'm into, to a lot of electronic and dance music and a lot more acoustic stuff. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of it can't, but the stuff, I write 3 different types of music. I write slow acoustic stuff. I can do electronic music and I can do rock and roll. So the rock and roll aspect of it will come from the band, and I can combine the other two, maybe make a wacky, far out acoustic fucking electronic record.
On your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's at all possible.
So what bands out there, like long-standing bands out there, would you want to be like career-wise, where it's like they haven't made a joke of themselves, kind of, and they're still going?
Are still going? I don't know. There's not that many, really, is there?
No.
REM are not a joke, are they? No, I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan, but they're still respected. Yeah, that would be cool. U2 would be the benchmark for me, because I think that I always buy their records before I hear them, as do millions and millions of other people. And you always know the quality of the songs is going to be good. You don't know what sort of field it's going to be, whether it's going to be a rock record or a dance record or what have you. But you know that the songwriting is going to be up to a certain quality. So I would say U2 more than anything. And on a personal level, Neil Young.
Like on a just individual.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When I grow up, I want to be Neil Young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Paul Weller.
Paul Weller's really cool.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's a good friend of mine, and I still think he's cool.
No, because I remember seeing him for the first time in person. I'm like, he just is. I'm like, he's just hot and sexy. It's like, but he's really nice. Yeah. Yeah. Who do you think's making music now that you like, that you respect? Do you think is doing something really?
There's a band from America. I never thought I'd say this. Well, my favourite band of the last 10 years now. Well, since Nirvana anyway. They're called Cotton Mather. Have you heard of them? No, Mather. Mather, Mather, and the word cotton. They made this album called Kontiki, which is spelled with a K, Kontiki. And I read a review in a magazine in England that said, it was like Bob Dylan singing the Beatles into a 4-track machine, and I was like, that fucking sounds all right. So I went out and tried to find it, couldn't find it anywhere. So I had to get it sent from America via the internet, I think. And I got it back, and I started off at, track 1, didn't like it. Track 2, didn't like it. By the time I got to track 3, I was thinking, this is fucking bollocks again. By the time I got to track number 5, from track 5 to track 14 is just the most awe-inspiring fucking music I think I've ever heard in my fucking life. And I had to start drinking and smoking loads of cigarettes. I started getting shivering, going, this is it. This is fucking it. So I phoned everybody up and I got everyone out of my house. And Liam was going, where are they from? I was going, America's going like that. Before the fucking music had even started, fucking rubbish.
That sounds like...
And I was going... He's going, what do they sound like? I said, the Beatles. He went, nobody sounds like the fucking Beatles. Nobody. By the end of the album, he was just going, can I borrow it? I said, no, it's mine. You've got to go and get your own. But
what label is it on?
I think it's on Copper. Copper.
Okay.
And
I'm going to go buy this.
Well, do, because I spoke to a man at the first interview I done when I got here was in Philadelphia, and the guy was saying the same thing, and he was going, well, I've never heard of these guys, and how long have they been going? I said, well, I think it's the first album, and he's going, so he said, well, I'll go and buy it if I can find it. Anyway, I got a phone call off him the other day, and he was going, it's the best fucking record he's ever heard in his life. And everyone I play it to, I always wait for the first 4 tracks, and they always go, oh, is that it? And then he just goes, oh, fucking wait a minute. And then if you start right, the thing to do, buy it, start at track 5, get to the end, then go back and listen to the first 4. Because if you listen to the first 4, you just switch it off. But I listen to it from 5 onwards, and then the first 4, and even the first 4 now sound good. It sounds like Tom Petty meets the Beatles, meets Dylan, meets the Beach Boys. It's fantastic.
That sounds a bit too good to be true.
But it is. Honest to God, it's brilliant.
But that's what they were telling me about the Beach Band.
The Beat Band are good, but I think they can be a lot better. It's not the first record and all that, and they're probably still finding there.
I think they're a lot better live than they were on the record.
Yeah.
You get the sound, not the visuals necessarily, because I think the record sounds a little bit muffled.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think there's good things to come from
Yeah.
You know.
It's. I'm not going to be like waiting with excitement. I'll always listen to it, but I'm not going to be like, oh, can't wait.
Yeah. But out of England, there's nothing. Travis, maybe. I like Travis.
This album?
Yeah.
I just got it out.
It's not been released over here yet. Which is,
I know, but they just sent it to me because they were going to release it last.
Yeah, it's very slow. It's very almost like Radiohead, the Bends type of thing.
I saw. I don't like Radiohead, you know. I saw Fran last year at Reading, and I just went over to say hello, and he just completely stood there and talked to me for 25 minutes and dumped all this stuff. I'm just staring at him going, listen, I just came to say hello. Like this. And he was just so stressed out about his life.
Oh, really? I don't get that from him.
And he's, well, not anymore,
all right.
maybe, but he's like, I'm moving to where you are. He's like, I've got your phone number. He's like, I'm moving to California. That's it. And I was like, all right, well, go spare room.
He's a young boy.
Yeah, but then I think that ended up on the record. I think that's why it's so good.
Right. He's
angst.
He's, when the first record's good as well. When I first seen him, I thought, he's got it. He's definitely got it. He's got something. And his songs are good, you can't knock it.
He's got a good mom.
Yeah, he's got a good voice and all. I have to fucking say that. I wish I had his voice.
No, he brought his mother here on tour.
Oh, they toured here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Last year. And he was just, as soon as he saw me, he was like, you have to meet someone. Yeah. And he goes over and he's like, this is my mom.
No.
and I thought, like, you're not on the bus, are you? And she was. She's been traveling on the bus.
Oh, dear.
That was her Christmas present or something.
Wow. There's no need for that.
No. Good?
I don't know. I've not. They see these.
So I wrote a review of his mix CD this morning.
All right.
And I slated it. This is garbage, right?
All right.
And Frank's going to come get me.
Oh, no.
I'm going to email his manager tonight and say, listen, I'm just telling you I've done this. I don't want him turning up at my doorstep with a knife.
I don't know. I don't know, because these dance boys don't do demos, do they? So they just sort of work in the studio. So, but if you ask me, I'll go and help him out as much as I can. But I get the feeling that I'm going to be a little bit busy for the next year anyway. So I'm going to be on the road. So probably not. But I think Paul Stacey's going to work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're both into jazz and all that stuff, and he's on a big jazz tip at the moment.
Right.
Just certainly don't get what he's going on about, but there you go.
5 more minutes.
5.
5 more minutes. Literally 5.
Because Marcus is downstairs.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
No, literally 5 more minutes. You can stand outside the door and look at your.
Right.
Did you pack already?
I packed already. I'm not checked out though.
Okay. Maybe 7.
No, I've got to go meet my manager because he lives here, So
Why has he moved permanently?
Yeah, he's got a great place up the road. Fucking fantastic. Okay. So I've got to see him before I go back to England.
Right. Just quickly. And then, because like what you did with Tom and Ed on this album of theirs is just like, your voice just sounds brilliant on that. Like the best it sounded until the 2 songs are gone.
All right, thanks. I generally didn't. I was a bit anxious about going and trying repeating what me and Tom and Ed had already done, and they was going, no, it's going to be fucking great. And I was like, Setting Sun is so fantastic, and I think I really feel anyway that's probably one of the best things I ever got involved in, even in fucking Oasis, And they're going, no, it's going to be brilliant. Come on, let's do it. So I wrote the song. I particularly preferred it as an instrumental, and they were going, no fucking way, man. This is big. It's like big psychedelic anthem.
Were you involved in the songwriting part of it as the music part as well?
I wasn't involved in the music.
Just
the singing.
So they had it ready before you came in.
Yeah, well, they had the loop going round. I mean, what they do is they send you a continuous loop,
right? And
then you send a bit back to them. Then they write another bit. Then they send it back. And then when you got the finished thing, you all go in the studio and then do a little bit of arranging. And out it came. It turned out all right in the end. But I was listening to Setting Sun the other day, man. It's just that's punk rock.
You think it's better?
Oh, I fucking love Setting Sun, man. It's punk rock.
It's not forever, please.
Well, you see, the thing is, they were going on, it's going to be this big West Coast California anthem, and I was going, yeah, I can probably see that, but it was pissing down and it was raining in England when we were writing it. It was just like, don't get it at the moment,
Yeah.
But I probably don't think we'll work together again. I know, hopefully, if I was to maybe do a solo album, I would like to get them to be involved working on my stuff as opposed to doing the other way around. That'd be cool. But I think I'm up. Me and the 2 boys from Corner Shop were going to work together on a new Corner Shop record.
Right.
So, because I was supposed to work on their last album, because they've got another side project called Clinton.
Which I don't like at all.
No, I was supposed to work on that, and they sent me some stuff, and then the Oasis thing kicked off back, and I didn't really get the time, and I seen them out and I said, look, I couldn't, do enough time for it. And they said, oh no, it's fine. They said, but are you up for working on the Corner Shop album? And I fucking love Corner Shop. And I said, I'm there.
Right.
So that's the that's the next thing. So there's lots of exciting things going on at the moment.
Yeah. It's when I talked to them about it, we were both saying, like me and Ed were both saying that we can hear the release in your voice.
Yeah,
and he was saying that he feels like with them that you can. He says you always you don't have to carry the can.
Oh, totally, yeah.
For them, so that you can just kind of let it go and you can hear it in the voice.
Yeah, and it's good to watch people like that working because you think, well, maybe if I could use a bit of that in my stuff. And I think, I think bits of it, like on Who Feels Love and Gas Panic, are definite.
It's come through.
Yeah, the sound more than anything. Fucking in the Bushes is like the Chemical Brothers meets Black Sabbath. You know what I mean? So it would have been nice. I mean, I tell you what would be fucking really cool is on the next record, if we have tracks like that, would be to say to them, well, look, this is your thing. We've recorded them now. You go and remix them, and we won't use the definitive version. We'll use your version and see what they come up with. That would be cool.
So what's happening with this Helter Skelter thing? They just said no.
Well, the funny thing is that they said that they felt. Now I don't know how true this is. I don't know whether this is their manager talking or whatever.
So you didn't speak to them, to Tom and Ed directly?
No, I asked them to do it, and they agreed in principle. And then I got a message back saying that they felt the song had bad karma, which I got pretty upset about because I was just thinking, what the fuck is all that about?
But did you tell them it was Helter Skelter when you talked to them about it?
Yeah, of course I did, yeah.
Okay.
And then they came back and they found out I got a little bit upset and they said, all right, we'll do it then. And I said, no, fuck it. If you don't want to do it, don't fucking do it. But, I've since seen them in the street and that around London and I said, look, don't worry about it. So we'll work together.
Yes, they worry about this stuff, because then they'll call me and they're like, do you think he hates us?
No, I don't.
They're always asking me, like, what do you think he thinks? And I'm like, I don't know what he thinks because I'm not in his head.
Well, next time you speak to them, tell them I'm not at all. I was a little bit upset, but,
You're over it.
Yeah, I'm over it now. It's cool. They're my fucking mates, you know what I mean? I wouldn't.
You don't understand. Even a year from now, if I tell them that, they'll both get really happy and
right.
they'll have like a better day because of it.
Right. No, they're cool.
Well, they both care about you a lot, but I mean, Ed particularly is obsessed with you. But I mean, they both really care about what you think.
Yeah. Oh, well, they were the first people I played Go Let It Out to, just a really rough demo of it. And they were going, fucking hell, it's a bit different. I was going, do you like it? And they was going, yeah, I love it. And I was going, fucking brilliant. Right, I'm doing something right now. Because if they like it, that means I'm doing something contemporary, and something that I like means it's traditional enough for me to like. And if they like it, it's modern enough for them to like. And I was going, fucking brilliant. Now I can go and fucking really go to work on it. So they've got a lot to thank themselves for, really. In
end of 94 and the beginning of 95, anytime I would be standing anywhere near Tom, you could hear him humming Oasis. Any time of day or night. There'd be and then I have another friend here who would be doing the same thing. I'm like, do you know what Tom does that? I'm like, you two are funny. Because then they would get stuck in my head, even if they weren't before. And I'm like, that's wicked, man. That's a little soundtrack to their lives. But, so what about these new guys then?
They're great.
How do you feel about not having the old guys then?
Well,
you miss them?
I got upset for about a day, and then I thought, well, fuck it.
You understand why they left though, don't you?
Yeah, They didn't speak to me personally about it, which I was upset about. But, I thought, well, this is not a crisis. This is a problem that's going to be solved, and we'll solve it by getting two better people in. Now, when we were doing rehearsals, it's all a bit formal and polite. It's like, oh, well, you play this bit in this part. And they go, oh, I wouldn't, that's awfully to interrupt you, but am I playing correctly? And it's all like that. But then now we've been away together and been, on the bus and stuff like that. It's a bit like that with new people, like, what's it going to be like when we all get drunk together? Is there going to be the old backhanded fucking insult flying around and that? How are they going to react when you start taking a piss out of them for the first time? And I have to say, it's been an absolute fucking joy. They're wicked and they're brilliant musicians. And, we're into the same records and stuff and we've got the same sense of humour. Having a decent haircut goes a long way to fucking, to bonding and all that. We can talk about haircuts and going, that's kind of right, man. So, but they're
combined with the sense of humour.
Yeah, but they're fucking brilliant. And it's like at the end of the BA Now tour, I was going to leave the band, and I'd had enough. I didn't like the people I was in a band with. I felt we weren't going anywhere. It was useless. I thought my time would better be served as a solo artist. So I went. I gave up drugs. I rediscovered the writing bug, and it was brilliant. And then the two guys left and I was like, fucking, it's a bummer. But fucking hell, now these two guys are in, it's like being in a new band, so it's great. And it'll only finally feel like that when we make a record that we've all played on, and then it'll be fucking brilliant.
What made you not leave immediately when you were thinking about them?
We were having a year off.
I guess you had time to chill out.
Yeah, so I had time to relax, and then...
Do you know, Ronnie Size asked me once why you guys just left this American tour, when we did that years ago. And I was telling him, I'm like, it doesn't matter why they left. You have to remember how you feel when you do something big like that. Like, you think about it a year later and you're like, I could have stuck it out, but you can't. Because you make the right decision at the spur of the moment and it feels right, I'm like, you have, because, to him, it's like, to me, that is such a big deal. It's like, you fucked off America. I'm like, he didn't fuck off America. I'm like, he would have imploded if he'd stayed. At least they're still around.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the thing. If we would have walked off that American tour and the band would have broke up, that would have been wrong. But the thing is, we've made another record, 2 records since then. This one is, is a far superior album to the last one, and we're coming back, and we'll keep coming back. So it was justified in my eyes, born for the people who bought tickets. But there you go. That's just the way.
People called me screaming. I'm like, not in the band.
It's not
not
my fault.
married to any of them. It's nothing to do with me. Okay, last thing. Is there anything you want to talk about that nobody asks you?
No. Cool. I'm gonna go.
Thank you, Noel.
That's the whole interview, 0 edits. There are some print versions of this interview which have already been posted to the paid tier of the Pictures of Lily newsletter. As always, Noel makes it easy to turn one interview into a lot of copy. The Pictures of Lily newsletter goes out every couple of weeks and you can subscribe to it for free. For my paid subscribers, I'm posting bonus newsletters that include print-only interviews from my 33-year archive, including classic ones from the 90s with The Cure, Oasis, The Verve, Blur, Pulp, Supergrass, Portishead, Erasure, Electronic, Suede, Daft Punk, Massive Attack, Air, Black Grape, Tricky, Uncle with DJ Shadow, Underworld, and more to come. For founding members, there are additional interviews with Noel Gallagher, Richard Ashcroft, Damon Albarn, Jarvis Cocker, The Chemical Brothers, Massive Attack, Erasure, Primal Scream, more Daft Punk, more Uncle, and Talvin Singh, Beth Orton, and Fatboy Slim. I will link the Pictures of Lily newsletter in this podcast if you'd like to subscribe to it for free. Any paid subscriptions to the Pictures of Lily newsletter go straight to the supporting of the production of this always free podcast. From myself and my co-producer and editor, Lawrence Schroeder, thanks for listening. And if you have a chance to subscribe or follow the podcast on any of the podcast platforms, please do so and please rate and review. You can connect to us on picturesoflily.com, and from there you can choose your preferred podcast platform, or Instagram, or Facebook, or YouTube, or Pandora, or Amazon. You can also find the playlist for the podcast episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Thanks for listening.
Pictures of Lily.